Okay, so one thing I do want to let you know that I do, and it will sometimes be this class, sometimes it'll be fifth period. I record one lesson that I give every day. So it's gonna pop up here in a second. I'm officially on Zoom right now, so no, I'm not asking you to join my Zooms or anything. Just the easiest way I found to record them. So right now I am live on Zoom and recording your class. So one thing that means is if you say something stupid, it will be recorded. So you might want to keep stupid comments to yourself. Just saying, not that any of you would have stupid comments, but if you do, they are being recorded right now. I do this because I personally learned how to do it during COVID, and it didn't take any extra for me to do this. And what I do is I record a lesson every day. So sometimes it'll be your actual class, sometimes a different class. So I record this so that way, if I have somebody absent, instead of them coming in and saying, Mrs. Ritz, what did we do yesterday? And me having to give them like a mini lesson, I will say, it's all on the video. You can go watch that. Now, do you have to watch the video? No, but you will never get, I will not be giving you any of like own personal mini lessons when you're absent. If you're absent and you miss the material, you either need to get it from a friend and have them explain it, or go ahead and watch the video. So if you watch the video, it's literally a class, so you cannot miss it. Will it be boring? Yeah, no one wants to sit and listen to me talk on Zoom. It's even worse, but it's there if you want it. Do you have to like log in and do live Zoom? No, you do not. It's just there in case you miss it. It's just saved me a lot of time. So like I said, right now I am recording your class. You'll always know if I'm recording your class too, but just keep in mind, don't say stupid stuff. So here's just the list of things I want to go over today. So starting with what I call the today board, I've never thought of a better name for it. It's the board where I asked you guys to read when you walked in. I'm going to ask you read it every day before you sit down. Just like you did today, it told you where to go and what to do just to get ready. Very rarely, it's not like what do they call those things? It's not a bell ringer activity where like you have to do work. It's usually just pick up or take out or hand in, just things, turn the page, whatever. Just so that when I'm ready to start teaching, like you're ready to start listening and doing whatever I need you to do. Not like 10 minutes later, realize that you don't have what I asked you to pick up, and then we have to stop and wait for you. So it's just things to get you ready. Whatever I ever have you pick up will always be right here on the top of this blue band, just like the syllabus was. By the way, did anybody not catch one of these? You're not in trouble. I just want to make sure you get it. You guys all get it? Oh, you're the best. So it's always right there. Now, I will leave this pile here until I need to put something new there. Why I'm saying that is tomorrow this syllabus is still going to be sitting here, but the board won't say pick it up. So don't just walk by and pick up whatever's here, because sometimes you won't need it. So always just glance at the board on your way to your seat, see if there's anything you need to pick up. Like sometimes it'll like ask you to grab a ruler or some colored pencils. Everything will always be right here. So that should be your just walk in and check the board type thing. Questions on that? Again, everybody's got the syllabus, nobody needs one. Okay. So for the bathrooms, and going to your locker, if you can, try and go to the bathroom on your way down here. Even if you think you're gonna be late, I should be standing out in the hall. I'm watching down the hall most of the time. If you can just like get my attention and like show me that you're going to the bathroom, that works for me, even if you'll be late. So that's an option. Otherwise, I can't let more than one person out of the room at a time. So if you come down here and somebody asks to go to the bathroom right away, that's only one person at a time. So just keep that in mind that you gotta be very efficient for it. Just go as fast as you can. So this bathroom, I don't wanna find out that you've asked to go to the bathroom and you're down in the ag wing. I know it's more private down there, but unfortunately we gotta like make it as fast as possible so you don't miss too much information. I know some of you are already here in lab, so you already heard how I handle bathrooms, but this, I do a little different. It's a huge pet peeve of mine when I'm talking or teaching and somebody's like, I don't know, getting so excited that they're gonna ask me a question about earth science. And then all they say is, can I go to the bathroom? It's like such a letdown. So I think you guys are almost adults. I think you can handle going to the bathroom when you have to on your own without me dealing with you. So what I do is it's like a vacancy or no vacancy sign at a hotel or on like a porta potty, you know how they say vacant or occupied. I use this this light right here. So all you have to do is if it's off like this, that means no one else has left the room. So if you have to go, yeah, get up. You do not raise your hand because again, I'm trusting you. Until you give me a reason not to trust you, but some of you already are looking like that's weird, I'm trusting you. I will trust you. And if you have to go and that is off, get up, grab the pass, which should be right here, hit the button, and leave. When you come back, hit the button, hang up the pass, done. Then the next person can go. So if the light's on, you just know the answer is no. If the light's off, you can go. Even if I'm in the middle of teaching and you have to go right then, go. Okay? If it becomes a problem where you go every single day at the same time, or you're gone for way too long of a time, we'll have a discussion. Like if you legit have a medical issue, you need to go, fine, go. That is the last thing I want to do is for anyone to sit here and be uncomfortable. So go to the bathroom when you have to. You are old enough to be able to handle that. Same with your locker. If you need to run to your locker, hit that. If your locker is super far away, you might want to just interrupt me and say, I have to go get to my locker. It's down by Mr. Clayton's room. I might be gone a while. So that way I don't question it. Again, if it's an everyday thing, we have to figure out how to get you here on time. You good so far? Mm-hmm. Today is gonna be the only day I talk to you for 40 minutes because I hate this day. This day is the worst. You guys are all staring at me like you're super bored and you can't even do anything. So this is the only day that I do this, okay? All right, the next thing I want to talk about, fire drills and lockdown. I don't think this is too much. Without these doors, just like I think everybody did last year, over the grass, over into the grass, line up accordingly. Lockdowns are gonna be along this wall. I will clear out that back corner, so there's room for everybody. But this room's nice and set up that we're not even too uncomfortable. As long as you are here and over, you can't be seen from the window or from the door. I'm gonna skip the syllabus for just right now. We're gonna just talk about supplies. I know I mentioned to those of you who were here yesterday. A binder is probably your best bet for staying organized, but I will never at any point check how you're staying organized. That's on you. So do your own system. Whatever works for you. I know personally, I would hate using a binder because I wouldn't want to carry around a binder. But I also don't know how I would keep as much stuff as I'm going to give you organized. What I do though is I give packets. They'll be about 20 sheets of paper each, so they're pretty big. But there's going to be 9 of those. So it's not like I'm giving them to you every week. So you will end up with a stack of papers about this high at the end of the school year. Yes, I expect you to keep them for the whole school year. Some of you won't touch them again, some of you will. I know a lot of you say, well, I've never studied before. So this might be the year you have to study. So it won't kill you to keep everything. My own kids, my daughter took earth science a couple of years ago. So what she did instead of carrying around a binder full of the entire year's worth of stuff is she had a folder. And in that folder, you put in your the package you're working on and anything you need daily. And then like for when we're done with chapter 1, put that in a binder. And then just carry around packet 2 with you. You won't need chapter 1 when we're in chapter 2, but you might need chapter 1 when we start reviewing. So just keep the stuff, but you don't need to bring September stuff with you like in March. You just won't need it. So as long as you have a system that you bring with you what you want to class with you, do whatever works for you. So that's for supplies. If you can't a binder works. If you like a binder, use a binder. If you don't like a binder, use something else that works. Which brings me to the first thing that you'll put in your binder, and it's called your ESRT. Your very first earth science thing you're getting. You ready for it? Yeah. Yeah. I thought so. When you get this, put your name on it, please. Okay, good. All right, so this is called your ESRT. Anybody figured out what ESRT stands for yet?
Earth science.
Reference table, it's right there at the top. Oh, I guess it technically should be an RTES, but that doesn't sound as nice. So it's your Earth Science Reference Table. Take a look at it. What do you see in there? Math, numbers, charts, what?
Ton of confusing stuff.
A ton of confusing stuff. That's what it should look like today. I mean, yeah, the maths might not be too confusing. What this is tables that you will reference on every homework assignment, every quiz, every test, every lab, and your Regents exam at the end of the year. You will use this reference table. You know, have you ever sat in a test and wished you could Google the answer?
Yeah.
Probably almost every time you take a test. Wouldn't Googling the date of a war be so much easier than memorizing it? Or wouldn't it be easier in math if they gave you all the formulas and you didn't have to memorize them? Like even on a test? Well, that's what I do this year. That's what New York State does. This packet, this yellow packet, is everything you've ever wished you could Google during a test. This year is not about memorizing stupid random facts that you'll never use again in your life. I know that you guys have learned about igneous rocks before, right? You've heard the word, I hope. Igneous rocks. Do some of you not remember what they are? Cannot tell you. I don't expect you to. Mr. Atkinson and whoever the other 8th grade science teacher were taught you, I promise. But if you don't remember, in 8th grade, you would have gotten that test question wrong. This year, we have a reference table that will show you exactly what an igneous rock is. No memorizing random facts that you're never going to use again in your life. Because most of you, after you leave this class, probably will never need to know what an igneous rock is again. This class is not about memorizing facts. This class is about knowing how to use your resources, which means how. That one wasn't me. You? I don't think it was me. No, mine's way over there. I don't think it was me. Anyway, it's not about memorizing things, because memorizing, you will always have your phone for the rest of your life. You guys can always Google what an igneous rock is if you ever need to again, right? So why bother memorizing it if you can always Google it? But knowing what to do with that information is what I'm going to teach you this year. How to use your resources and look things up and deal with them that way. Last year, on last year's Regents exam, 67 out of the 101 questions used that reference table. The answers were in there. What's that mean to you if 67 out of 101 questions were in that reference table? What did you say again? Yes, everything you guys just said is also true, but the moral of the story is you passed if you use the reference table. This year, you will pass if you know how and use the reference table on the Regents. So does that mean I could give you the Regents right now and you would pass? Not even close, because just like, what's your name again? Caden. Just like Caden just said when I handed it out, it's full of confusing looking stuff. Because they don't give it to you and say, an igneous rock forms by. They give you a chart that shows. In fact, it's on page 6. Why doesn't everybody go to page 6? Upper left corner. I think it's page 6, but I gotta see what somebody did there. Yep, page 6, upper left corner. See that chart up there? With the circle, rock cycle chart? Can anybody tell me how an igneous rock forms from that? Easily, at least? Not yet. Right? has something to do with lava. So some of you looked at it and you're like, I have no idea what it's trying to do. Some of you, I'm sure, could figure it out if you took and cared enough. But each one of these reference tables needs me to teach you how to use it. So as long as you know how to use these reference tables, I promise you, you will pass this year. Okay? I like to think of these as your cheat sheets. These are your cheat sheets. Now, do you know the questions? No, so you can't just write down the answers. But these are the way that you could cheat. If you could cheat on the test, this is how you would do it. So you get to use these on every homework, every test, every lab, every quiz, including your regions at the end of the year. The only thing is with the regions, you get a brand spanking new one, so that in case you had added additional information, that won't be in there. But it's still the same idea. You get a brand spanking new version of this. So it's the exact same thing you've been used to, just not with any additional notes in it. So questions about that? So remember how I said you have to remember to bring stuff with you daily? So however you're going to be organized, this is something you need to bring with you. Oh, I bring it with you every day. We'll probably use it almost every day. Chapter 1, we don't use it very much, but from chapter 2 on, we'll be using it just about every day. So put this somewhere where you will bring it back with you to this class and to your lab class. So it has to come back to class and lab every time you're down here. As an incentive not to lose it. So first of all, it's yellow for a reason. It's the only thing I'm going to give you that's yellow. So if you ever have a binder full of stuff or you just shove it in your backpack, which by the way, I don't recommend, but if you do, it should be just the only yellow thing that's in there. So that makes it easier just to see. But as an incentive not to lose it, at the end of every quarter, I'll ask you to show me your yellow reference table. If you have it, I will give you 1 extra point on your average. So if your quarter 1 average was an 89 and you still have your yellow packet, I'll bump it up to a 90. If it was a 64, I'll bump it up to a 65. If it was a 72, I bump it up to a 73. A whole point, which is actually, that's like a couple questions on a test to get an average like that. Or a bonus like that. So it is a good idea not to lose it. Yeah. Then I'll give you a white one and you don't get extra points, but I won't leave you high and dry. On that note, I also have spares every day. So there will be spares in here. I don't like to, if you borrow one, give me back the old one, give it back at the end of the period, because sometimes I look through people's folders or binders and they have like 7 of them. That's a lot of extra paper. So I do this because the 1 year I didn't do it, I had to make like 200 extra copies, and that's 8 sheets of paper for each one of them. So it adds up and I don't like it. So they're important, so you need them. And it's a lot of paper, so don't make me make more copies. Get an extra credit point too. Any more questions? If you do ever forget to bring yours, the extra copies are right here. Again, you don't have to ask, just come up and grab them, they're extra. They're the ones people used on the regions last year. So these were brand spanking new in June. They used them, some people colored on them, but they're right there. Not doing chapter 1 yet, so I guess the only thing we have left is just to talk about the syllabus, but I do not want to spend a lot of time doing it. I'm sure it's the same as everybody else's, as everybody talked about so far today. Yeah. So, the only thing that's different about mine would be on the top of page, I guess it would technically be page 3, the top of the second sheet of paper. It's just your grading scale for them. So I know a bunch of you just put them away, I'll just put it up on the board. So see, just Zoom that I'm using here. So this is right there, just where your grade comes from. So we will have quizzes, homework, labs, and tests are what your grade is based on. So you can see that most of your grade is based on the chapter test. We'll do 9 chapters this year. They are all listed here at the bottom. So we'll do 9 chapters, depending on exactly when like vacations and stuff hit. I might separate like chapter, one of these. Meteorology, I typically separate into two separate categories, a before and after Easter one. So in that case, we might have 10 chapter tests, but either way, tests are worth 40% of your grade. So most of your grade is coming from how good you do on a test, which for some people is fine, other people struggle on tests. If you struggle on tests, labs are going to be your best friend. Labs and tests are worth, so one thing I should say is you don't get a separate lab grade. So on your report card, you will not see an earth science lab grade. I take your lab grade and I put it into your class grade, and it's worth, I know you can't see it there, but that's it's supposed to be 30%. So labs are worth 30%, almost as much as tests. So between labs and homework, if you're a bad test taker, you're going to want to do your homework and do your labs really well. So labs, you can have a 100, because in lab, you can get help from your partners, you can get help from your teacher, you can use your notes. For some of them, I'll even have you using your phones or your computers to look stuff up. You could have a 100 in lab. No problem. Like you could, depending on how much work you put into lab, you could have a 100, which will balance out any bad test grades you get. I do offer test corrections, so that will also help your test grade. But if you do bad on tests, you have labs to help you out. Homework also. So homework is 20%, but labs and homework together are more than tests. I only grade homework on completion. Do you guys know what that means?
Yeah.
If it's done. So I will literally just walk around and make sure that you've answered every question. Now, does that mean if it was multiple choice, you could circle random answers? Yeah, of course you can. Go for it. I'd rather you do that than turn in a 0. But I will say, I only give like 5 to 10 questions for homework, and they're usually multiple choice. They're all Regents questions. So because there's so few, and I do this on purpose, I only want you to answer a couple, because I want to make sure you really understand those questions. So usually your homework should never ever take you more than 15 to 20 minutes. If it's taking you more than 20 minutes, something's wrong. Either I didn't teach it enough, you didn't learn it enough for whatever reason. So if your homework's taking you 15, 20 minutes every time I give it to you, something's going wrong. So make sure you ask for help then, or message me on Teams to get some help. As long as you do your homework and do really good in labs, there really is no reason to fail this class. The more homework you do, the higher your test grade is, I promise. It's just how it works, because they are all related. So you should be pretty good with this. Now, since I grade homework on completion, I don't accept late homework. So if I give you homework tonight, which I'm not, but if I did, it's due at the beginning of class tomorrow. I'll walk around and give you, if it was 10 questions, if you did it all, you get 10. If you do 5 of them, I give you 5. I think you get the point. You get what you do. If you don't do it, it's just a flat out 0. And if you don't do it, there's no such thing as, can I give this to you later? Can I turn this in tomorrow? There's not, because it's so quick and we'll have already gone over it. If you're absent, so if I give you homework today and you're absent tomorrow, it is your job to show it to me on Friday. I will never say, hey, George, you were absent yesterday. Can you show me your homework? I won't do that. You need to say, Mrs. Ritz, I was absent yesterday. Here's my homework for you yesterday. And then I will switch it. I will not track you down. There's too many of you. And just like I said about the whole bathroom thing, you're old enough to figure this stuff out on your own. I know it's a little harsh, but it is what it is. If you don't do it, if you don't show it to me, that becomes a 0 and it gets averaged in as a 0. Now, if I give homework today and you're absent today, one thing I will do is it's posted on Teams. And I'm going to show you that as soon as we're done here, where I'll post it. It is posted on Teams. Now, if you're absent, I'm not expecting you to check Teams and do it. You should, but you don't have to. If you're sick and legit absent, you don't have to do homework that night. Should you? Probably, yes, but if you can't, you can't. But anyways, if you're absent and I give, so if I give you homework tonight, but you're absent today, You will get the homework tomorrow, and then it'll be due for you on Friday. Again, I'm not tracking you down. I won't tell you the homework, and I also won't check, like, ask you for it. So you'll have to make sure you send it to me. Again, it's always posted on Teams, and I'll show you where that is in a second. Sound fair so far? The only thing I didn't talk about quizzes, you can see they're worth barely nothing. A quiz, we'll probably have 5 to 6 quizzes a quarter. They're worth next to nothing. They're really just there for you to see, like, ooh, I truly don't understand igneous rocks. I need to get some help on igneous rocks. Or if all of my students don't know igneous rocks, then I must have done something wrong. So I could also see what you do and don't know. I don't want to make it worth absolutely nothing because then nobody will try. But if it's just worth a little bit, it will just help your grade a little bit if you do good. But if you do bad, it will only bring you down a little bit. They're not worth anything really. All right, so if you guys are good with that, I can just show you Teams where I'll post everything. And then that'll be it. You guys good so far? Oh, no, I lied. I'm sorry. I have one more handout. Oh, so your syllabus needs to get signed, the last page, and then this also has to get signed. Since COVID, I have realized, and I don't know why it took COVID to tell me this, I think it just made COVID made it easier to do. I have started, instead of calling parents, because to be honest, I don't want to call parents, it's awkward and uncomfortable for everyone involved. I text parents. When you're hiding behind your phone screen, it's way easier to text bad news to a parent than actually calling and talking to them in person. And not to mention, the real reason I should say is because I have a very small window to talk to parents, and if they're not available when I'm available, then I have to stay after school and call parents, and they still might not be available. So I text parents. I use a Google Voice phone number, so it's not my real phone. But I just text them, like, hey, your kid hasn't done homework all week. Your kid's missing 8 labs. Your kid got a 64 last test, but just aced this one. So I also call for good things or text for good things. What I don't do is I don't say, hey, your kid's got a test tomorrow. Again, you guys are almost adults. That's not my job anymore. Maybe that might have been your 2nd grade teacher's job to remind a class that they had a spelling test. It is not your 10th grade teacher's job to remind your parents that you have a test. So I text, and you will see on there that I do ask for your phone number. I'm not even going to look at them. I promise you, I will not look at your phone number here. It really goes back to COVID, that first year of COVID when none of us could get a hold of any of our students. If we had had their phone numbers, it would have been a lot easier. So I will, once I get these back, I will get your parents' phone number off of them, see any notes that they might have added. I will not look at yours. I'll put them in a pile. They get stored in that cabinet. And then if there's ever a shutdown again or a lockdown, I will then have your phone number. But I promise I am not texting you. If you guys do want to text me, like I said, it is not my personal number. You are welcome to text me as well. I will keep my phone number up there in case anybody needs it. What would you possibly need to text me about? If you had a question on something, you can text me. If you were missing something, you can text me. If something is really rubbing you the wrong way in class, you can text me. Just let me know. Just also you can message me on Teams, which is probably what you guys will do. The other thing I want to say about texting or messaging is I have my phone on Do Not Disturb. So if you're doing your homework at midnight and you have a question, text it to me. Now I'm not going to answer you at midnight, but that way you won't forget to ask me the next day. I also know, like, or if you're doing your homework, like, even if anytime you have a question, message me. I might not answer you, but if I'm sitting at my kid's swim meet, waiting for her heat or whatever, and I see you have a question, I'll answer you. Like, if I'm not busy, I'll answer you. If I'm busy, I'm not going to answer you. Do not be afraid to message me. Like, so I know some people get like all bent out of shape. Well, I'm not working right now. No, text me anyway. I will get you when I'm available. I want to help you guys. If you are legit, have a question you're willing to ask me, I will answer you as soon as I can. Same with your parents. If they need anything, just have a message me whenever. Yeah.
Okay, I'll just walk first. So my mom's here, because I have a doctor's appointment, if you pay for the office call, can I just go?
Your mom's here.
Yeah.
She lied. See, this example, I think you're an adult until you prove the other.
Okay.
Okay, but you're good. Any other things? So get this and the syllabus signed, and now I really can check out.
Do you want it signed or is it okay if I just fill it out?
This one can be filled out, the syllabus has to.
Okay.
Yep, legally, the syllabus has to, this one can just be filled out, good point.
Okay, do you want it back?
Sure.